Breakdown of Alcoholics Anonymous Tradition. 11. Attraction, not promotion. Our public relations policy is based more on attraction than promotion. We must always maintain our personal anonymity before the press, radio, and movies. The development of AA has undoubtedly been surrounded by publicity of all kinds of media, from newspapers to movies, television, and today, the Internet. At some point, we have all seen advertising of almost every kind, from simple brochures to commercials broadcast on television or in AA movies. This has been extremely important as a large number of people, companies, professionals, and clergy have called to request more information about Alcoholics Anonymous through this advertising. However, these same tools have also misinformed people because personalities who, far from informing and guiding people about what AA really is, have left a mark that is very difficult to erase from the minds of those who do not know Alcoholics Anonymous, and are confronted with videos on social media where people are hitting and insulting each other in the name of AA. However, let us remember that although we have no opinion on matters other than AA, these trends are not AAA. They are deviations or trends that have emerged through the AA program. This reality today is unfortunate, as many people who do not know Alcoholics Anonymous buy into what they see and hear from others who have stepped into other currents, and not what it really means to live the Alcoholics Anonymous program. That is why we have a great responsibility to develop the best possible public relations policy for Alcoholics Anonymous. After many painful experiences, we believe we have determined what this policy should be. We realized that we had to rely on the principle of attraction rather than promotion. For example, a political party wants to win an election, so to attract votes, it advertises the virtues of its candidates. A noble, charitable institution wants to raise funds, so it immediately lists the names of all the distinguished people who have given it their support on its letterhead. Much of the political, economic, and religious life of the world depends on the publicity given to its leaders. Individuals who symbolize causes and ideas satisfy a deep human need. We, the doubles, do not doubt this. However, we must seriously and sensibly face the reality that being in the public eye is dangerous, especially for us. It has been seen that many doubles are harmed by being exposed to a camera as their egocentricity begins to inflate. However, let us also consider the opinion that it is also a reality. Many doubles who have participated in breaking their anonymity on social media have helped thousands of people. It is a reality that, much to our chagrin, as traditionalist alcoholics, dogmatic and closed-minded, it is something that is palpable. Let us remember that being extremists, that is, being on top of the mountain or being below it, will not lead us to anything good. That is to say, while it is true that many AAs have misused their anonymity to confuse people, leaving an image for AA that is not good and doing so to seek power, prestige, and twisted relationships, it is also a reality that many other AAs have broken their anonymity in order to help people. The people who, due to language or cultural issues, have had to move from their country, such as the case of Latin Americans going to the United States, enjoy this type of content. Since while it is true that there are AA groups in the country, the socio-cultural connection is different, and these videos have helped thousands of people not to drink again. They have even been able to clear up the doubts of many of the members regarding their recovery. Perhaps while narrating this, many AAs are being overwhelmed by anger and rage, since far from becoming guardians of the principles, we have been intolerant of the new era that is currently present. We have been surpassed by new technology, and we have not known how to adapt these types of media to our needs, and this is a great reality that weighs on many of us. Sometimes this principle is demonized in a way that is severely criticized. However, the question is there not conflict of this nature in every type of society? That is to say, that there are also opportunists in traditional groups. There are also ill-intentioned people who seek power, prestige, and money. Indeed, how many treasurers of groups, areas, and districts have left with the money? With this, we only want to raise awareness that sometimes those of us who take baths of purity with traditions are the ones who have corrupted them. We must allow others the right to make mistakes and let time and experience give reason to whoever needs to be given reason. But we cannot be judges and executioners of our brothers who break any type of tradition. Intolerance and being scared of the breaking of any tradition is what has made us become petty. While today we do not break any tradition, we would do better to look back to know what mistakes we made and how many traditions we violated at the time, since this is what will truly serve future generations or renewing blood. And so that the renewing blood does not make these same mistakes, the result has been more favorable publicity than we could have ever generated through the inventions and talents of the best AA publicity agents. Of course, Alcoholics Anonymous had to have some type of publicity, so we came to the conclusion that it was better to let our friends do it for us. Now we understand that the personal publicity of Alcoholics Anonymous can cause some confusion. We have seen that in recent times. For example, there are those artists, whether they are singers, dancers, athletes, among others, who have decided to break their anonymity before the mentioned media, stating that they are members of Alcoholics Anonymous. However, many of them have bitten the dust by returning to consume. This first glance has nothing harmful. However, people begin to wonder if the Alcoholics Anonymous program is something that yields good results. And we realize that sometimes it is not this way. The same media found themselves facing something unusual in the world, a society that wanted to publicize its principles and its works, but not its individual members. The press was delighted with this attitude. Since then, these friends have made reports about Alcoholics Anonymous with an enthusiasm that even the most fervent members find difficult to match. In fact, there was a time when the American press appreciated the value that the anonymity of Alcoholics Anonymous had for us, even more than some of our own members. At one point, about 100 members of our society were breaking their anonymity publicly with very good intentions. Those people said that the principle of anonymity was something outdated, something that belonged to the pioneering era of Alcoholics Anonymous. They were convinced that Alcoholics Anonymous could advance more quickly, further, if it took advantage of modern publicity methods. In Alcoholics Anonymous, they indicated there were many people of local, national, or international fame. If they were willing, and many were, why not publicize their membership in Alcoholics Anonymous and thus encourage others to join us? These were plausible arguments, But our writer friend did not agree and insisted that personal anonymity is the best protection of Alcoholics Anonymous. While the practice of this tradition is more than a rejection of selfishness, this tradition constantly and concretely reminds us that in Alcoholics Anonymous there is no place for personal ambition. Through this tradition, each member is an active guardian of our community. However, the reality today is that we must begin to open up our perspective, some horizons that could bring us good results that we will not obtain today through the press, radio, and television, since these are obsolete means that, although they are active today, have become history. The media today is the internet or social networks, where people spend most of their time. Being absent in this sense of these media has led us to have a poor operation in the information to the public. Since if we complain so much that there are colleagues who break their anonymity on social networks, why not do something to bring good information to the public in general? It is easier to complain than to do something. Today is not really a situation of egocentrism, protagonism. Being within social networks is a necessity we have, since the vast majority of people spend more time on these media than using conventional media like television or the press to inform themselves. This has been all for today. We thank you for staying until the end of this video. We invite you to leave us in the comments box what you thought of this video. If you have any questions or comments, we will also happily receive them 24 hours. A strong hug, and see you next time. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this Alcoholics Anonymous audiobook. We hope these words have brought you reflection, strength, and hope on your journey. Remember, recovery is a path we walk one day at a time, and no one has to walk it alone. If this audiobook meant something to you, please support the channel by subscribing so you can receive more content like this. Don't forget to give this video a like and share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. Your support helps carry this message of hope to others who are still suffering. Thank you for listening, and keep coming back.